Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Grace with Pastor James. So glad you are joining me in this episode. Today we are going to continue with choices and we are going to be looking at part 2. The key Bible passage we took is Jeremiah 29:11 that says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And we are saying that if the Lord already has a plan for us, if He has already preset everything, then do we need to do anything? The answer is yes, you need to do something because God has given you that choice. And we looked at that in Deuteronomy 30, verse 19. It says, "This day I call the heavens and the earth as witness against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live." So God has given us that opportunity to make our own decision. And the Bible passage we looked at again is Hebrews 11:23 to 27. Hebrews 11:23 to 27, where we looked at the 4 key elements, the 4 key ingredients that Moses actually implemented that made him achieve the future that God has planned for him. And those are very key steps that you and I can take. The first thing we talked about was he refused. In other words, he refused for somebody else to define his identity. So today we're going to be looking at the other 3 ingredients that he actually took. He chose, he regarded, and he preserved. He refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated with God's people. He regarded the sake of Christ of a higher value than the treasures of Egypt, and he persevered. So the second thing that you will need to do if you actually want to achieve the future that the Lord has planned for you is to choose a short-term pain for a long-term gain. Majority of us, we don't want to go through pain, and no pain, no gain. If you don't go through pain today and you enjoy today, you are still going to go through the pain in future. It's just like you taking out a credit card to go and buy things. Yes, you enjoy it today, but you are going to pay that debt in future. So for you to achieve that which the Lord has planned for you, has preset for you, you need to choose to go through a short-term pain. You need to do the work today so that you can enjoy the long-term gain. That is so key. Hebrews 11:25 says Moses chose to be mistreated. That simply means that he wanted to suffer today so that he can enjoy tomorrow. Otherwise, he would have just gone ahead and enjoyed the wealth, the treasures of Egypt, and that is a short-term gain. But what he chose gave him an eternal reward. That is why we're still talking about him today. One thing I want you to know is that pleasure is for a season. Sin is a pleasure, as the Bible told us, but it is for a season. It is short term. Things happen to each and every one of us. But let's be clear. People can harm you. People can hurt you. People can scar you. But nobody, and I mean nobody except you, can decide to remain with those pains. Your choices are far more important than the circumstances you are going through today. So make the right choice. The third thing is choose what God values, not what the culture values. Moses, in verse 26 of Hebrews 10, they said Moses regarded. It simply means he made a judgment. He made a choice. Moses regarded disgrace for the sake of Christ. And that is what God values. In other words, I am going to suffer with the slaves rather than go through the pleasures of Egypt. So when we say you need to go through the things that God himself value, there are three things that we can look at. The first thing is God's purpose is more important than popularity. You see, sometimes God gives you a purpose and you are going through it now, and it's so painful because it's as if you are not moving. But if you persevere, if you bear that pain for today, it will surely come to pass. The second thing God values is people are more important than pleasure. And that's why Moses had to look towards the people than the pleasure of Egypt. And the third thing is that will give you peace of mind if you actually focus on that thing that God values, to give you peace of mind more than the possessions that you would gain. Possessions sometimes will bring so much trouble into you. And of course, the fourth thing, which is so key, is choose to live by faith, not by fear. And that is your choice, whether you want to live by faith or you want to live by fear. It says to choose to live by faith and not by fear. Verse 27 says, by faith, Moses left Egypt, not fearing the king's anger. You see, he wasn't afraid of the wrath of the king, because the king, as at that time, the king of Egypt, Pharaoh himself, was the world's strongest man, and anything he says goes. He can command you to even kill yourself. He can command you to cut your fingers, and you just have to do it. So you can imagine somebody like that, you just damn every consequences, and then you go with what the Lord wants you to go with. He wasn't afraid of whatever Pharaoh was going to do to him. He persevered. Why? Because he saw him who was invisible. He saw the eternal reward that is waiting for him. And these are the things that I want you to focus on, so that you can achieve, especially now that we are winding down 2024 and going into 2025. If you go through these four choices, you will be able to achieve God's vision and plan for your life. Thank you so much. I just want us to have a word of prayer and we would go from there. Father, I thank you for the gift of life and for being our guide and shepherd. I glorify you for your unfailing love and wisdom that is always available to us. Lord, your word says if anyone lacks wisdom, they should ask, and you will give generously. I ask for divine wisdom and understanding, Lord. Guide every decision that we make as your children. Help us to discern the right path in every situation. Heavenly Father, we surrender our will to yours. Let your Spirit lead us in every step we take. Grant us clarity of mind, peace in our hearts, and that we should always, always trust you. Thank you, for in Jesus' wonderful name we have prayed. Thank you, brethren, for listening to this second part of choices. And if this has blessed you, please do share it with other people. And if you are looking for a Bible believing church, we have wonderful brethren who will welcome you in RCCG Solid Rock Parish, Derby, 55 Woods Lane, DE 22 3UD. God bless you, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.